Hey, it is Andy with the FensePost Indie Music and Vinyl Blog, and Voxtrot is an indie pop band that formed in Austin, Texas in 2003. They are also one of my favorite bands, and they have been since the release of their debut EP, Raised by Wolves, in 2005. In 2003, the band released their first 7-inch single for the song The Start of Something on Cult Hero Records, which ultimately found its way onto that early EP. And I've also covered that here, so don't forget to check in the description for a link to that 7-inch. With the release of Raised by Wolves, the single garnered, well, quite a bit of attention from music blogs and websites and indie radio stations. I was at one at the time. Voxtrot's early music predominantly consisted of upbeat, jangly indie pop with super catchy melodies. Their music drew comparisons to bands like The Smiths, Belle and Sebastian, The House Martins, and countless others that kind of fit that genre. Pitchfork called their music, and I quote, cleverly crafted pop that's equal parts melancholic and euphoric, while AllMusic described them as, quote, charming, literate indie pop with a hint of post-punk edge. Yeah, those kind of all fit the bill. Lead singer Ramesh, his lyrics often explored themes of love, loss, self-discovery, all of which resonate deeply with me. And they did back in 2005 at the ripe age of 25, just as much as they do now in 2023, now comfortably in my early to mid-40s. One of their most notable songs of the era is, like I mentioned, The Start of Something, which features jangly guitars, catchy hooks, lyrics about the beginning of a new relationship that was, well, seemingly off limits for an otherwise forbidden love. Other notable tracks from this early period included the title track of that first EP, Raised by Wolves, and that of their second EP, Mothers, Sisters, Daughters, and Wives. You also had songs like Rise Up in the Dirt, which was also from that second EP, which was released in 2006. Then the other week, this arrived, Early Music, a compilation that's essentially those first two EPs, Raised by Wolves and Mothers, Sisters, Daughters, and Wives. The first on the A side, the second on the B. While the band took a hiatus in 2010, they returned with this compilation LP and a rarities one called Cut from the Stone. More on that in a future video. Both of those were set to arrive in 2022, though production delays extended it into 2023. Voxtrot embarked on a tour to support the release of these two compilation LPs, and that took place in kind of the September through November timeframe of 2022. For many, the tour was a godsend as the band had remained quite relevant and, well, continued to build a fan base despite not touring, releasing any new music, or, well, even existing. So let's take a quick look at early music. Simple black and white photography. You've got this yellow Voxtrot on the cover. It almost harkens back to those early EPs, which had kind of a similar black and white or sepia toned cover with that yellow text. The back is simply the track list for both of those early EPs, both containing 5 songs each. And once again, you have Cult Hero 006. Now, I don't really know too much about Cult Hero. There's not much you can find out about the label online, but it may have something to do with one of the band members. On the inside is, you've got Ramesh here, a bunch of other people. In fact, this looks like it was taken in and around the time they released that first EP. You can see they're kind of displayed in that kind of stretched out fashion that you see on that early EP as well. And this here is, well, it's the cover art for the second EP, Mothers, Sisters, Daughters, and Wives. Down here you have who's in the band, what the songs were released on, and who recorded them, all that kind of, credit stuff. And over here you have actually a nice little statement from Ramesh himself in 2022. Ramesh notes that he moved to Glasgow for university in 2002, which really actually is not a big surprise because you listen to their music and you can hear some of that indie pop sound influence coming into songs like Raised by Wolves and The Start of Something and all of that. And of course, at the same time, you hear the influence of Austin's music scene in the mid-2000s as well. And he notes, and I'll quote, "Voxtrot still lives in that original place of freedom, open, wild, allowing for life to come dancing through." And you hear that in the early music. You hear that in some of the new stuff that came out on Cut from the Stone, and you hear it a little bit more in several of the other areas that Voxtrot is continuing to explore. In fact, I just saw that Voxtrot is back in the studio, which for me is extremely exciting. What do you think of early music from Voxtrot? What was your favorite song? Personally, mine has always been, from the moment I heard it, The Start of Something. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.